This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
Whenever you're spending money on ads to build your list, there's no real such thing as losing money on advertising. You're just figuring out what doesn't work, and you're getting data in return.
Hi, my name is Igor Kheifets, and this is the List Building Lifestyle, the only podcast which delivers cutting-edge conversion strategies from the online trenches straight to your earbuds. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. I also invite you to grab a free copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. And now, once again, it's time to claim your list building lifestyle. Welcome back to another edition of the List Building Lifestyle with your host, Igor Kheifets. And today, my guest is someone who I've been following around since about 2009. His name is Adam Holland, and he's the head of the Adam Holland Marketing Agency at adamhollandmarketing.com. Once an Amway failure, Adam, is now in-demand speaker and consultant in the home-based business arena. He specializes at building custom sales funnels and marketing campaigns for his clients. I first came across Adam, like I said, back in 2009, when I was still trying to wrap my head around how this internet marketing thing really works. He immediately stood out for me, and ever since, I sort of lost touch with him. But today, I'm truly excited to reconnect and rap about list building, marketing, and conversions. Adam, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, Igor, thanks, man, for having me on. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
Oh, yes, sir. So just before we get into the meat and potatoes, just like the rest of us, you started out broke and unemployed, and you probably were short on time and short on everything. I mean, that's how I remember my journey, had zero resources, zero time, and still, trying to make this work. So obviously, having gone to $20,000 per month within your first year online and pretty much just instantly becoming, guru, right? Because you immediately got invited to speak at seminars, etc. The question on everyone's mind is how?
Yeah, I mean, basically what it came down to, and for those of you that don't really know my story, this is back in late 2007. I had found the internet marketing industry, and I was kind of putting around trying some different things out. At the beginning of 2008, I had made some money online here and there, but I was basically reinvesting all that into my business, and I was very excited because I was like, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm going to, become financially free myself from a job, never have to work for a boss ever again. And the boss beat me to the punch, and I got laid off from my job instead before my business was totally ramped up. This is February of 2008, so just hit my 8-year anniversary of that, I guess. And basically what happened after that is I drew a line in the sand. I had to make a decision on, am I going to go back and find another job full time, or am I going to go and make it on my own as an entrepreneur? And I said, after going through so many jobs after college and really not finding anything that I was passionate about, I'm like, well, this is my shot. Like, I'm not going to give in and just go and find another job and keep job hopping for the rest of my life in different occupations that I'm not excited about. I need to find something that I'm passionate about. And I found that internet marketing ended up being that outlet. And to answer the question, the biggest thing that I was looking at, the biggest factor in going from zero broke, time was more of a factor when I was getting started because I was working a couple of different jobs at the time, actually. But because I had more of that free time, I focused on like SEO and content marketing and that kind of stuff to generate traffic. And because I had a follow-up process down and I was very good at conversions, I didn't need a whole heck of a lot of leads to generate that income. And I slowly ramped that up. And by the end of my first full year, I was making $20,000 a month. And a lot of that goes back to the fact that I was focusing on income generating activities. Too many people they kind of get online and they're like, well, I heard I need to do podcasts and I need to do a blog and I need to do this and that. And they're literally doing like 9 things at once to try and create a quote unquote brand or a audience, when it's like, well, even if you had that brand and you had that audience, would you be making money from them? And a lot of people, they kind of put the cart, before the horse, and they don't really understand that conversion process. How can we turn one visitor into a dollar amount? And then once you get that one visitor, you get 10, you get 100. And then, as long as you have that machine set up, now you can actually ramp up and really start to build out the audience.
It's interesting you mentioned that because that was my chief mistake, I believe, early on. I keep telling everyone who I come across and anyone who's really willing to listen how blogging didn't work for me. And I too spent a lot of time doing content marketing, as you put it, where I built out a really huge blog, put a ton of content. I literally created all the content myself. It was 100% unique. In fact, I caught other people stealing it from me, which I was very upset about. But that's beside the point. The point is that I built it out into page rank 4, and I ranked really well for some, money-making keywords. However, I noticed that in spite of having 250 unique visitors per day, somehow I was not making any money whatsoever. So after 8 months of grueling hard work, I scraped the blog, and I now realize as you say that, as you sort of like voice it, a bell goes off for me, and I'm like, that's why it didn't work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, too many people are focusing on, oh well, if you build it, they will come. It's like, no, if you market, they will come. It's not Field of Dreams. It's, I don't know, pay-per-click of dreams or something like that. Like too many people, like, and this is very predominant in the industry. I mean, I was giving my buddy a bunch of flack on it, recently, because he's got a podcast and he's showing like a couple hundred downloads a day, and he's looking at his stats, and excuse the term, but one of my mentors, when I first got into direct mail and direct response, he said, when you start getting hyped over numbers that aren't like traffic and revenue, it's just mental masturbation. It's literally like you can pull out a calculator and be like, oh my God, this is going to be so good if this many people convert into buyers, or oh my God. And it's just like, dude, you're literally like jerking off over your marketing right now, which is not getting you anywhere. It's like, it's literally getting 1 million downloads of an ebook isn't going to give you anything unless you know how to turn those ebook downloaders into actual, buyers, if you're giving away a free ebook or something like that. So yes, I mean, it's great to have that audience, but you need to understand that process. And once you have that process, it's literally like printing money at that point.
I really thought that for once, after all these episodes, we're going to have one without any sort of, dirty words like masturbation. But, that was just a dream.
Sorry to disappoint you. Does that give me like the license to drop some F-bombs for the rest of
Absolutely. I think you earned some karma points right there.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. And it's mostly because it's something I'm very passionate about, because I've worked with so many people that are startups or they're affiliates for lots of different home-based businesses. And I don't want to say like I take everything personally, but I really put a lot of effort into helping other people succeed. And when I see that they're not succeeding, no matter what traffic source that, they've got or what their funnel looks like, you can have a halfway decent traffic source and not even a halfway decent funnel. But if you're doing the proper activities on the back end to generate those sales, you get those results. And when I see people not doing the right activities and they're wasting lots and lots of time, I don't want to say ticked off, but I get very passionate about it, because I see so many people that like there are a couple of degrees of separation between doing lots of work and not making any money into doing like the right work and making lots of money. It's literally a couple degrees of separation, because a lot of them, they've got, a lot of people have the capture pages. They've got a free, tripwire, $7 tripwire type offer. They've got maybe a $50 application, on the front end for their home business or something. And it's that, I don't want to say it's like, on one hand, you could say it's the lie of every home-based business system that's ever been created that says, oh, it's system, it's all done for you. That works up to a point. But if you look at every single top earner and every single opportunity, if you look at anybody that's a personal development coach, whatever, they've got their own products, they've got their own brand, they've got their own relationship really with that list. And it's not like, hey, you're on my list, I'm just going to keep hitting the send button until you buy something. They're a lot more proactive in getting those sales. And if you're not getting those sales and this isn't, it's not making sense as well, what are they doing? That's, a surefire sign of the fact that you've basically been sold into, just get an opt-in form and just send traffic and it's all hands off. You know what I mean? So I'm much more of a person that's going to grab the flag and charge the hill and go after the sale, rather than, I want my website to do the work. I know lots of gurus that'll get 300, 500, plus leads a day, and they can make the same amount of money as somebody with 50 leads a day that are actually really following up with those leads. It's a concept I like to call slow down to speed up. So many people just are trying to shove as many leads into their funnel as possible to try and get these stats and this and that. But if you're slowing down and you're trying to connect with each individual lead, see what their needs are, and be a little bit more consultative, and your business opportunity, let's say, because I'm sure a lot of people on your list, Igor, are in that industry. If your business opportunity isn't necessarily the fit for them, guess what? You might have another business opportunity is like a second tier option or something like that. Or you might have ebook that you liked on ClickBank that you purchased a few months ago that you're like, hey, well, I purchased this a few months ago. You might get some value out of this instead of my business opportunity. You can't afford my business opportunity. Here's a ClickBank product, and at least that way you're monetizing that lead. And this is really how you can go from a $3 per lead CPA to a $30 per lead CPA. Earning $30 per lead as opposed to $3.
Adam, I think you just bursted a bunch of bubbles for a lot of people who believe that they could push a button and send traffic to a page and just, things to happen magically. And I would love to keep going the same direction for you to talk a little bit about what really makes a great campaign, what really makes a campaign which allows you to create automated signups. What I mean is like when it comes to the equation of putting together traffic and the right offer and the right follow-up mechanisms, what are some of the chief components that perhaps you and your company are building into something, or maybe something you've noticed over when consulting with top earners? What is that secret sauce? Because there has to be some sort of success pattern that my listeners are ignoring or are clueless about that can propel them forward, perhaps not make them millionaires overnight, but definitely get them better results when they purchase advertising.
Right. So many people use, like, in their copywriting on their sales pages, their sales letters, VSLs, whatever it might be, they use lots of different copywriting tactics like scarcity or creating a sense of urgency by putting a time limit on things. And it's nice to have that kind of stuff for a launch. But what I've found with most people, if you've got a business opportunity, chances are that business opportunity is going to be the same entry-level product or buy-in or whatever it is now, 3 weeks ago, or 3 months from today. So how can you give people a sense of urgency or some kind of sense of scarcity when they can virtually purchase whenever they want? And when you give people the option of being able to purchase whenever they want, when do they buy? Never. They procrastinate, they forget about it, and they look at your emails months later and they're like, oh, I meant to check that out. And it's like, if you're building a business on prospects that meant to check you out 3 months ago, that's not a very good way to monetize your list, and you're going to go broke really, really fast, buying traffic and everything. So the biggest component, I say, is, I hate to use the same word that you did. You say it's, the different marketing campaigns. Well, I use the word campaign in another sense, where it's not just the marketing campaigns where you're creating up pay-per-click campaigns, you're buying solo ad traffic or whatever it might be. That is one type of campaign, traffic campaign. I'm talking about a promotional campaign. And not to get, into politics, but there is an election going on right now, and all these different, potential next presidents of the United States are going to campaign in all these different states so they can get votes and delegates and stuff like that. And it's time sensitive because there's a date set on when those elections are going to actually be held. The location of that particular state that they're going to be held in that time frame. And people are either going to vote or they're not going to vote. Or they're going to vote for you or not vote for you, that kind of a thing. So how do you do this in business? Well, you do a promotional campaign that is time sensitive. So you might already have a sales video set up that they've seen, 50, 100 times, whatever it is, 20 times, whatever it is. But now you say, hey, everybody, we're going to do a webinar this next Tuesday night, and I'm going to go over how I generated 50 leads last week. Again, it doesn't have to be, any, huge numbers. People just, first of all, need to see that you're in the game, you're taking action, you're a doer, you're a leader, and you don't need 500 leads a day to do that. Even 5 leads a day, you're going to be able to show some kind of result that you got. And those 5 leads that you're getting on a daily basis are 5 more than the newbie that's on your list. So what it comes down to is, okay, we're going to do a webinar this Tuesday night, and I'm going to show you how I just got 50 leads this week. So go ahead here and register. So now you've got people on your list that they may or may not have seen your business opportunity video, but now you're going to do a webinar for them and provide value. That's always been a big thing that you've probably heard a lot of times, is you need to build that relationship, build that rapport with your list, and build that value. And then in turn, there'll usually be some sort of reciprocity for a percentage of those people that look at that content. They're going to say, oh, this person knows what they're talking about. How do I get more information? How do I work with this person? Whatever it is. So The next step is now you're actually on the webinar. Your webinar will be structured where the first 3 to 5 minutes, you're going over a little bit about your background, your history, how you found the industry, and then you're going to get into the actual training. Go through 20, 30 minutes of just rock solid training. Show them the back office of your campaigns. Show them whatever it is that you wanted to show them to build that value. And then you want to have some kind of a bonus. It could be a 1-page PDF that literally is just a checklist of everything that you went through in that webinar. It could be, if you did the webinar on solo ads, you can say, I'm going to give you my top 5 solo ad providers. Igor, cough, cough, whatever.
That's right.
Exactly, right? So now you've got an ebook, it could be, again, 1 page as a bonus. And you say at the end of the webinar, I am going to give you this for free as a new member of my business opportunity, as a new partner of mine. So now you're providing value, and you're going to provide them additional value in the form of this, bonus ebook or whatever it might be. It could be free 15 minutes of coaching. You can, again, come up with lots of different ideas for bonuses. But in this case, we're doing the example of, you're going to show them how you're getting 5 leads per day. Here's the 5 leads per day, formula, checklist or whatever it is. Purchase my $50 application into my business, and I'm going to throw in for free this ebook bonus, this checklist bonus, whatever it is. And this webinar and this bonus expire this Friday at 11:59 p.m. So the stroke of midnight, this is gone, and I'm only going to allow this download by 20 people. So now you've literally taken something that was the same $50 sale it was the week before. You figured out a way to repackage it, share additional value, and now give them an incentive to purchase that because they have a bonus that they're going to get. They're going to get additional value. So you're increasing the perceived value of that $50 because you're giving that additional bonus. Then you're also providing you also have the fact that there's a sense of urgency. You have a time cap, which is Friday at 11:59 p.m. So at the stroke of midnight, they can no longer get that bonus anymore. And you can also set a cap. Only the next 20 people that purchase are going to be able to get that. So all of you that are listening to this right now, hopefully what you're hearing, if you've read between the lines, is if you've been generating 20 leads a day for the last month, but you have gotten 0 sales or a couple of sales out of that, and you're wondering what the heck the problem is, go ahead and do 1 promotion. Implement exactly what I just said in that. Try and get 100, 200 people to register for that webinar. Let's say you have 100 people register for that webinar, 50 of them show up, 40 of them, 30 of them stay until the end, and then you close 3 or 5 people. You've literally probably doubled or tripled your sales if that's the only number of sales that you got in the past. So that's what it's all about, is just basically figuring out time-sensitive promotions. And now that you've done that once, guess what? Shut down the bonus and focus on your marketing and focus on upgrading those people in your business for the next 3 weeks. And then when the 4th week comes around, guess what you're doing? Another webinar on another training on another topic. And you literally repeat that cycle every single month. You'll go from that 3 to 5 sales, and then you'll go, like, the next time you do a webinar, you'll do 5 or 10. The next time you do a webinar, you'll do 10 to 20, and it'll just keep ramping up. And over the course of the year, now you'll be able to close, you'll be able to batch all the people getting into your home business in 1 week during each of those months. So that way everybody's getting started at the same time. You can kind of weed out the people that aren't going to do anything and work with the people that are. It's just a machine. It is a machine. It's not only a money printing machine, it's also like a leadership printing machine, or a leadership cloning machine, I guess you could call it. Because now you see the people that are duplicating based upon your bonuses and your extra training and everything. And who the people are that you're going to work with.
Wow. Okay. Well, first off, I did invite you to an interview. I did not invite you to create an information product. You just gave away a whole blueprint on how to become a topper. Thank you very much. You guys can unsubscribe from the List Building Lifestyle right now and just go and do that. I mean, you really don't need me anymore. But, to circle back to scarcity, I believe it is the single most effective marketing concept out there, which is also the single, I believe, underused or underappreciated concept as well, because I've seen some top earners out there still forget to use it, and they pay for it dearly with lost profits. Now, if you've been working with me for some time, you would probably notice that we do scarcity a lot as well, and that is because there's only 2 concerns that people have when it comes to buying something. That is timing and money, and both just disappear. They vanish when there's scarcity, when there's genuine scarcity, and there is a desire that your client has to purchase your product. Because just like you said, Adam, if you allow them to buy whenever, that it just never happens because life is just so busy. It's so full of events. There's like social media everywhere. Tens of thousands of advertising messages hit us every day, and we just cannot keep up with that. So unless they take action now, or unless they know what the deadline is, it is just not going to happen. And to give an example, we ran a campaign over Christmas. So I believe we started out on the 25th and it ran all the way until the 31st midnight. Well, just, midnight on the 1st, right? Midnight on New Year's. And we have generated more sales on the very last day of the campaign when I kept on sending out emails saying how it's almost over, it's closing in 60 minutes and 30 minutes and 50 minutes and so on. We made more sales that day than we did in all preceding days of the campaign. So, because the deadline was there, that deadline drove all the sales because that's how people are. We are a weird bunch of, beings, and we will not act unless the resource we want to get or that benefit we want to get is a scarce one. And I always bring up this quote from Mark Twain, who said, "I do not want to be a member of a club that will happily accept me as their member."
Right. Exactly. That's too funny. But yeah, absolutely. You got to have scarcity. You got to implement a lot of the copywriting techniques. You just don't do it all corny, where it's just like, we only have 10 copies of this digital product left. And then like they check the website like 3 months later and it still says 10 copies left or something like that. Please, like, it's like people just get carried away with trying to use tactics for the sake of using tactics and not doing it like with any kind of strategy behind it necessarily too. So that's my little side mark there, my side note.
Yeah, fake scarcity doesn't work, guys. I don't think you should use it. And to create scarcity, it's actually very easy. Oftentimes, you don't even have to mention a limited amount of copies. You know what I do? I just go to websitecountdown.com and I create a timer that's a date-based. And I say, all right, so this special offer is only available until date. And I place this little JavaScript code on my page, and it just counts down automatically and remembers everyone too. And I will say this, the more expensive and the more complicated the offer you put out there, I guess the more value intensive it is, which means it costs more money, the more it is critical for you to inject genuine scarcity. And you will find that. I've just split tested, if you don't believe us. Split test running the same offer without scarcity and see your sales just plummet.
And then quickly turn off that split test.
So, Adam, one last question. So after having been a top earner for such a long time, consulted top earners for such a long time, spoke on stages, done so many great things and helped so many people, what would be your number one piece of advice to a beginner list builder who's just getting into paid advertising?
Boy, that's a good one. God, I almost want to give a top three, but one, like basically just whenever you're spending money on ads to build your list, there's no real such thing as losing money on advertising. You're just figuring out what doesn't work and you're getting data in return. So if you're concerned about losing money, first of all, I've actually way back when I did more consulting, now I just run the agency more and stuff. But when I was doing coaching probably 6-7 years ago, I'd flat out tell people like, based upon their skill sets and how much money they may or may not have, they might need to get like another part-time job to save up some money to actually be able to spend it on traffic. Like if things are that tight for them. And, they're like, well, why wouldn't I just like learn SEO and spend all that time? Like, no. Like SEO can go away tomorrow. Like all your rankings can go away tomorrow. But when you get paid traffic, you can just keep buying traffic. You can keep ramping up those ads and everything. So, I mean, that's, I think number one is not to get all freaked out. You're never losing money. It's all comes back in the data that you receive from those tests. And I think the biggest one though is just don't quit. If there's one like major tip, it's not complicated. It's not, real technical and strategic. It's simply don't quit, because I can't tell you that, like, I was literally coming downstairs this morning and the thought that came to my mind was the fact that, it's football season's been gone for 3 months and everybody wants their like Super Bowl moment. And we can't wait until Super Bowl starts. We can't wait until the NFL starts up here in the next, 3 or 4 months or whatever it is. And it's 4 or 5 months more like it. And everybody's just waiting for it, and they just everybody here in the States, we love football so much, then we just love the athletes and being able to cheer for them and cheer on our team, and we want our team to go to the Super Bowl and win. And it's that image of that MVP quarterback or whatever it is, holding that trophy above their head, their arms in a V. And I kind of feel like that walking down my stairs onto the first floor like every morning, because I don't have the body type to be a football player. I'll just put it at that. I'm a thin guy. So like for me to be able to go and play a sport and achieve that kind of success, for most people, that's just not going to happen. But you know what we can do? We can do list building. We can generate all these subscribers, and we can generate income online. And I feel like every single morning I've won the Super Bowl because I get to wake up in this 3,000 square foot house that we just bought last year, just bought another car this past week. I've been to Cancun, Fiji, London, Tampa, Atlanta, Minneapolis. I don't like a bunch of places just in the last 2 years, probably 20 different places in the last 2 years. I've been able to watch my kids grow up. My wife's been a stay-at-home mom. She hasn't had to work for about 2.5, 3 years now. And even before that, she had her own home business before we closed that down. So you don't realize the memories that you're missing out on by already not having that capture page being built or spending that few dollars on your first ad. So don't rob yourself of that future success. Don't rob yourself of those memories. Get the shit done now so that you can in the future, in the very near future, because you don't really, like I said, only a couple degrees of separation. You don't really realize how fast it can come once you're in that mode and you're actually creating those results. And then you can start to achieve that success that you've been wanting to realize now for however long and get the results that's going to get you free from the job and just experience life on a whole new level. And for me, guys, it's never really been about the house or about the car. It's just about being able to wake up when I want to wake up or go to the gym before I start work. Like Igor was like, you're probably a busy guy. I'm like, I was playing video games for like 45 minutes before we got on this call. Like I outsource a lot of stuff now. So, life is a lot easier, So hopefully that gives you that are listening to this right now some inspiration and a little bit more fuel to your fire to want to go out and create the business and the lifestyle of your dreams.
I was going to ask what was the car that you bought, but now I'm going to ask, what did you play?
What did I play? Oh, what this morning?
Yes.
Video game wise, I was playing a game called Payday 2. It's a game on the Steam platform for PC, and it's made by some independent guys or whatever. They've sold several million copies, I think like 3 million copies, but it's basically a game where you and like 3 other people do like heists, like you rob banks or you steal jewelry or whatever, and it's you versus the cops kind of stuff. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, realizing some dreams, I'm assuming.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I just think of like I'm taking back the money from the IRS. That's what I'm
down for that. I'm playing, dude. I'm joining Steam.
And as far as I gotta say, as far as the car goes, for people that know me, like I'm not like I like the size of the house that we're in now. I probably won't buy anything bigger, but I am so not a car person. So by the time people see this, I believe the video will be out where me going to the Ferrari and the Porsche dealership and all, the Tesla dealership, it's kind of like all a big prank that I'm going to be pulling on everybody. So, if you're listening to this before the prank happens, just keep watching like my Facebook wall or whatever. Don't try not to give it away. But I'm going to be doing a rap video in front of a car that's, let's say, not a Ferrari. Let's put it that way. And it's going to have like flashy bling, and it's just going to be a whole parody, and it's going to be hysterical. So I'm looking forward to it. This is the fun shit that you do when you've got time and money to be able to do whatever the hell you want to. You make stupid videos all day and prank your friends and troll them online. It's good. It's all in good fun.
That's the meaning of life.
Exactly. It's pranking each other and having fun. It's all good.
All right. So as far as I know, Adam does not offer coaching at this point, but I believe you could go to adamhollandmarketing.com and hire him to create you a full-blown done-for-you marketing campaign. I believe it's regardless of the niche you're in, right? Do you serve all the niches, correct?
Yeah, I serve a lot of different niches. I'm predominant in, obviously, there's home business, personal development, fitness space. And if you're involved in any kind of an info product, especially if it's e-commerce, but any kind of info product, and if you have a coaching back end, anything related to personal development and life coaching, I've got some personal offers as well that I'm launching here very, very soon. They've been on the back burner for, 6 or 7 years, but now it's finally coming to fruition. So lots of different opportunities for traffic and for partnerships and stuff. I'm also, interested in hiring. If you have certain skill sets, feel free to shoot me a message and we'll see what I can do for you.
All right. So this might be that extra job you need in order to be able to afford our traffic. Very, very good.
That's how I hired my assistant, man. He's a great email copywriter, but he's got no audience. So I hired him. So awesome.
Nice. I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us, Adam. And I truly appreciate taking the time. Now that I know that you're not busy, I'm going to be harassing you some more, getting you distracting you from all the video games and the, fun stuff that you do. Because, I'm sitting here recording at 9 p.m. at night. And, my life doesn't seem so exciting right now.
It's all good, man. This is still the dream. We get to inspire some entrepreneurs to go out and, create their lives. So it's well worth it, man. Any hour that you got to work, it's still worth it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, couldn't be happier as far as the business. And sometimes, when there's time zone differences and stuff like that, especially when you want to talk to really interesting people, I don't mind staying out. But it's my wife who has problems with that, but she'll have to deal with it, right? Because ever since we started making money, she doesn't quite complain as much.
Yeah, and these conversations are so much better than like the water cooler conversations back in corporate America. So I'd rather have these at 2 a.m. than be at a freaking job at 2 p.m. It's not happening.
Man, I love it how you're passionate about not having a job. Guys, you should really adopt that into your marketing because it's really, I can sense this. I can really sense this listening to you. Sweet. So, Adam, I'll let you go. You got some banks to rob and some heists to pull off. And I'm going to go ahead and see what's going on back home. So until next time we talk, have a good one. Thank you for listening to The List Building Lifestyle. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play to never miss an episode. Because who knows, just one conversion tactic we share on the show might double your list and double your business. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. And don't forget to claim your complimentary copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. This is Igor Kheifets, and until next time we talk, have a good one.
This is the podcastfactory.com.